Welcome this morning, or whatever time it is that you're watching this. I'm JW. This is John W's Corner. Join me for another episode as we continue with Johnny's World. And today we are, as promised, launching into chapter 11, but it's entering into a different section of Johnny's World called the early days. And before I go further with this, I want to explain. You might have noticed that I haven't been uh, doing episodes here in the last few days because I've had other things going. I've been doing some work outside and getting exposed to the element that hasn't exactly helped much. And there's been other issues, but I'm going to try to play catch up a little bit and see if we can get where we need to be. But one thing I guarantee that I will try my best not to miss is our bonus Saturdays, which will be coming up another one before too long. Today, our story is called The Adventure Continues in this episode. And as Tinsley continues to tell the story and explain, of course, Nate is writing. Um, he says, "Life for me as a child was often like a Huckleberry Finn adventure. Johnny was Tom Sawyer, and I was becoming Huck Finn. The rest of our circle of friends, at least in my eyes, were the gang that Tom wanted to assemble. The only difference was that we weren't robbers. I recall that first year of school after we moved to Appleton. On day one, I remember learning that my mom, the teacher, known as Mrs. Thomas, had her classroom across the hall and a couple of doors down from my classroom. My teacher's name was Miss Chapel. She was very pretty, a fact that none of the boys missed or failed to discuss. In those days, the word chatter meant just that. We had heard that this was Miss Chapel's second year teaching. I thought she looked a lot like Nurse Chapel from Star Trek. That just happened to be one of my favorite shows on TV. I would hurry home almost every day so I could watch the next episode. It was almost as important as brushing my teeth every morning. Because of my love for science, I could relate to that show. Nurse Chapel's first name was Christine, while our Miss Chapel was Montreal. I always thought that was a city in Canada. Now, on one morning, as I approached the front of the school, I heard a voice. "Hey, Tin Man, did you see our principal, Mr. Farmer?" He was walking with Miss Chapel and looked rather friendly together, don't you think? I knew, without a doubt, whose voice it was. Excuse me. It was Johnny Sampson. I thought those words seemed strange coming from him until I realized that he was trying to get me upset after our earlier conversation concerning Miss Chapel. My response was, "I'm sure he was just being a gentleman." As we entered the building, the first bell rang. We hurried to our classroom. I could see my mom down the hall as she was closing her door with one of those looks that you never care to see. Oh my, how just one look is all it takes to get a point across. As I quickly took my seat, my desk nearly tipped over. I took out my pen and paper just as Miss Chapel was writing our daily assignments on the chalkboard. Now, class, before another word was spoken, there was one of those screechy sounds that only chalk can make. The whole class squirmed. One of those assignments included the word science, which sent all sorts of exciting sensations up my spine. The school day passed very quickly as we listened and watched our teacher walk back and forth at the head of the class. The bell announced the end of another day. As I got up to leave, Johnny and his good friend Bruce Lightfoot were just ahead when suddenly they stopped to turn around as if to tell me something, which caused a collision of everyone behind them. As we all got up laughing, Mr. Farmer was just down the hall and very quickly approached to put an end to our hilarity. Mr. Farmer approached us and said, "Boys and girls, what is going on? You appear to have caused an unsafe incident to take place. I want you three boys to march right down to my office. Mr. Thomas," as I gestured toward myself, "your mother will be contacted immediately." Later that evening, Mom admitted that she thought Mr. Farmer had gone a little far with his reaction, but he was indeed the principal. Tinsley Nathaniel, I'm afraid that Johnny Sampson may be turning into a bad influence. He had seemed like such a nice, polite young man until after the fire at the Millers. Well, my reaction to that statement was shock and amazement. Mother, Johnny hasn't done anything wrong. He would never lead me anywhere or into anything that I shouldn't be involved in. The only thing I was mistaken about was how friends possess the power to control each other. As weeks went by, school would become a bit boring. We desperately needed some excitement. One day, our friend Walter Davidson, of course, Johnny's never boring next door neighbor, hurried over to Johnny's with a flyer that he had received. Excitedly, he said, "Hey, guys, look, a fair with amusement rides and such. It's coming to town." They claim to have one of the fastest roller coasters. See, that's what it says here in this flyer. So in the next few days, plans were made for all of us kids, even the girls, to go to the Coleman Brothers Traveling Amusements and Arcade. They had gotten permission to set up at the county fairgrounds. Our community would definitely be excited about this event. They would be around for at least 2 weekends. Chances were that this would lead right into our citywide fall festival. The only thing that could possibly dampen our hopes and plans would be the weather. As usual, I just had to ask, "Hey, Johnny, what if it rains?" So, like the ticking of a clock, the day for fun had come, and what was that? Thunder. And that reminds me of a song. Oh, that is thunder. Oh my goodness. What is going on? Stay tuned. Come back for the next one. Life is like a roller coaster, is what we're going to be looking at on John W.'s Corner. Thank you.